Hello there, greetings. I was going to do a live streaming, but I'm having issues with this thing. I had Windows 10 on it, and I downgraded to Windows 8.1, and that's not going so well. So I have to upgrade it. What's going on is I started up, nothing works. So I shut it down, restart it, it's fine. So anyway, without going, and it came with Windows 10 and all that, so that's the way it goes. So sorry for the technical whatever it is, but so it's nice to be able to power this thing up and have it work. So this should fix it in theory. So if not, there are other ways around it, but this should work. So anyway, so I can't do a live video because I'm upgrading to 10 right now. See how things work. I'm not a big fan of it, but anyway. Okay, greetings everyone. Enough of all of that. Also, yeah, this is in the works. Not that anybody's, well, some people might be interested. If not, it's fine. The membership for the webinars, it's been kind of lukewarm, like the setup, it's okay. But I have another one I'm testing out. I believe this one will be successful. What will happen to be is you just, if you can do a monthly membership or you can pay for the full year. What you would do is receive an email, and if all successful, this is why it takes a little bit. You can create an account on the site also, and I'll add you to like the protected page, so you can just log in. So if you lose the link, you can always just log in if you wish. Can't control your account there. You have to cancel. You have to go through me, but that's all right. That's all right. Just send me an email. So I'm figuring this all out right now, so that's why it's not out there yet. Not that a whole lot of people are racing for it. It should be a little bit easier to use on mobile because the one currently is kind of, I'm still waiting. I mean, it's been like 3 or 4 weeks. I'm still waiting for him to get back to me on when people create an account, for a webinar. They're not given a page, they're not sent to the page where everything's there. And I'm still waiting on that. So it's kind of like a lost cause anyway. So yeah, tech stuff behind the, anyway, just give me an idea how things work. Those that are going into channeling and all that, if you go into this type of field, they also do have, for easier ways, is just, you just go to PayPal, they have a subscription thing, you can always do that, but I have to make everything complicated, so I'm trying to avoid that. Anyway, that's the way it goes. So anyway, so enough of that. So that's going to take probably a week or two, maybe less. Make sure I'm making it all make sense, so I understand what I'm doing too. So anyway, so yeah, webinars are a little bit, they're not for everybody and yada yada, but it's like a quick fix. Might not always just like the answer, but then again, sometimes it's cryptic. So, so anyways, twice a week. I thought about like going to Guinness World Records, and because I had to break some record by now. At least for alien channeling, at least I had to break some record by now. I mean, it's like twice. I used to do this 5 days a week. Sometimes 7. Okay, that's extreme, but 5 days of 4 times, 3 times a week. I went on to 2 to keep my sanity. So I must break some. I'm breaking a record somewhere. So anyway, but Guinness is I haven't looked it up. And it's not really clear what the webinars are. You have to go through everything practically. I don't really have them in a playlist or anything. So, and they have to accept it. It's like, is this something we don't care about? So I'm not sure how they get funded, but anyway, it's not a big deal. Maybe one day. I'm also doing the backups a little bit here and there. So So if you see me roaming around, okay, what we're going to do is about done. And Windows is about 78%. I guess I have to restart it. So you see me screwing around. That's what it is. So I'm not sure how long this is going to go because I have to upgrade this for tonight and hopefully it'll work tomorrow. Knock on wood. I always have another backup, but I like to use this one. So this one's a lot faster. You wouldn't know by looking at it sometimes, but anyway, this process a lot quicker. Especially do live streams, I think it runs a little bit better. Well, anyway, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, just rambling around, as you can tell. Okay, we're going to open this up for. Okay, we're just gonna. All right, I have a subject matter. I wasn't gonna do this. We just open to the angels. We just talk to angels and aliens and maybe just angels. But screw that. Well, we're going to, but there's a subject matter that's kind of speaking to me right now. 1 second. It's called the Vril VRIL Society. It's the part of the Nazis. I'll put that in the. I'm basically going to do a channeling on it. Basically, I had to do my little situation a couple of days ago. So anyway, about the Germans. Basically, I believe it's connecting to the aliens, Nazis. So we're going to go into a little bit of that. I'll put in the description of the video also if anybody's interested. Is this going to go? I mean, I'm not sure how far this is going to go. Oh yeah, it was another thing. I'm reading about it as I talk about it. Another thing. Okay, that's useless. But anyway, obviously, I don't have all the answers through my connections. Only so much is going to come through. Over time, more will dive into this. It does seem like when they started doing this, connecting them to the Aryan race from gathering, which got them into what. So when they created this society, it seemed like it opened them up to the tall blondes from gathering, which caused the Aryan race, whatever, the agenda. Let's put it that way. Okay, let's see. I'm at 81%. Okay. 1 second here. What is that? Okay. All right. Pardon my dust. Sorry about that. I know. Get on with it, right? I can't even pronounce anything recently. I've been worn out. I've been just connecting to all kinds. Just you don't want to know. I'm not giving the full story. It's not worth it. But it's just. Let's put it this way. I should not go outdoors ever again. I don't belong outdoors. I want nighttime. I'm okay during the day if it's like raining. Just had a tropical storm flow, but I'm okay with that. Anytime when the sun comes up, I cannot seem to deal with it. So anyway, as for the Vril Society, I think it's called the Vril Society. Anyway, it seems like they did open up to the Nordics. From what I'm gathering, when they created that society, understand it. It seemed to be before Nazi Germany was. I mean, in the formation of it, it seemed like that's where it popped up. Also, I believe this came through actually during the weekend. It never came. I never mentioned it, but I think this is pretty obvious, though. At least with the elites, well, yeah, this is super obvious. With the elites, yeah, obviously they connect in Agartha. And yeah, the Nazis are there, obviously, but a lot of wonder why you can't go down the road and find your elite, your Illuminati. You can't, because they're in Agartha. They have a part in it. I believe some of them are super neutral. Some of them are not very friendly, and they have like their angel guards. I mean, there are dark angels. There's whatever's. I believe they have their little. I don't know what they have, but it does seem like they have their dark angels protecting them with full moon gathering. So maybe a very nice wooded area that looks like Satan lives there. Probably something around those lines. It does seem like they do. Obviously, they control the trees, they control nature, they have their own ways of doing it. It does see. I do see when I connect to that, I've seen them controlling the trees. So from their environment, they obviously are. From Agartha, they're running the world from what I'm gathering. Of course, I think I see them out in space. I see them on another planet sometimes, another version of Earth also. So they're all, for a 3D, they're beyond our third 3D comprehension basically. When people connect to a 3D, there's like, oh, that's not real. We only believe in sports stadiums and yada yada yada. So at least from what I'm gathering, it's beyond our. Sorry about that. I'm checking. It seems like they're connecting to the third dimensional, fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional way. So obviously, a lot of this is going to be mostly useful in the future. But as for interdimensional travels, let's see here. Anybody here for a message? Okay, reptilians. Okay, I'm seeing like a gray reptilian, kind of like he has things popping out of him, like not horns, but it's rough. Let's put it that way. He has a rough exterior. Give him a minute, but anyway. Let's see. Of course, there's Palladian Alliance here. Okay, I guess the Palladians are going to talk. Somebody's going to talk. Let's see. One moment. As for what they're connected to is a lot of ancient energies. A lot of the Nazis have done this before in the past in Atlantis. They're just doing it again. It was like second nature to them because they did it in Atlantis. They did their little rituals that shut down the earth basically in their own way. Caused a lot of earth changes. It was a lot more worse during that time from what I'm gathering. So this is not something they've done this before. And when you look at history, of course, the UFO stuff, it does look kind of odd. It feels like they've done this before. At least that's my feeling on it. Somebody might be able to connect with that. Doesn't it feel like they've, it's like they seem to be doing this pretty well for some beings that have never done this before. So it does seem like some of them have done this. What was it, Heinrich Himmler? Is it Himmler? Is he the one with the concentration camps? Anyway, it does seem like he was part of, I know my Nazi knowledge is not doing too good right now, but it does seem like that has a lot to the magicians, at least the workers within the magicians. The magicians, the Illuminati magicians are working, controlling them. It's like, okay, we have our people we're mind controlling. They will open up portals. They'll do all our work. They'll lower, Atlantis vibration. They'll be our tools, basically. And we won't get any karma out of it because they're doing it, not us. Something around those lines. They seem to have a way of getting out of karma. I'm not sure how, because they're kind of keeping that. It doesn't matter. I just seen them getting out of karma. And any people, some people connect to the Illuminati energies and say, like, it's no big deal. It's a big deal. I mean, you see the way people are treating each other here. And it's like, you're like going to pull your hair out. It's a big deal, I mean, it might be very simplistic. No, do not restart on me. Oh, 30 minutes. Good. Okay, I got 30 minutes. That sucks. Puts me on a anyway. Puts me on a clock. I didn't know I was going to do that. No. There's no way to pause it. Restart. Oh, here we go. Restart later. Cool. Yeah, I'll take care of that later. Watch out to download it all again. Okay, cool. Okay, get that out of the way. Yeah, because that kind of puts me on the spot. It's like, great. Okay. Sorry about that again. Okay, no more distractions. It does seem like, yeah, it's obviously now. This is super controversial, probably. People think I'm crazy anyway, but aliens have been here forever, right? So they've had secret space programs going on here forever. Have humans been involved? I believe some have been. Even in the ancient times, medieval times, this is because we got technology. Doesn't mean they haven't always had it. I believe they've had some kind of technology over time, obviously. It doesn't just happen overnight. So now, like the Rockefellers and all that, I don't think they were a part of it, but they're just the workers basically. They only have like a couple of $1 billion in their pocket, for McDonald's or whatever, or who they're gonna buy or whatever. So it does seem like that's what I'm gathering. I believe the secret, yeah, I believe that's all been going on forever. So as for the Mars program, that might be different. I believe they have been doing stuff forever. Yeah, obviously, I don't have the evidence, but it does. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, come on, the alien presence been here forever. They didn't just show up in the 1950s. They might have taken over our government fully, but they're always here, even in the, during forever, obviously. I believe some, yeah, all of them come and go, but they're still, their effect is still here. Even like the formation of America had to do with a lot of alien influences, good or bad. Obviously, the Masons were here, so weren't fully under their control because of the central bank situation. Andrew Jackson threw that out, but they still have their influence here. I mean, look at Washington D.C. It's like, hey, look, everybody, we're here, we're running the show. So it's like no big surprise there, right? So they've had their presence here forever. So as for our history, like secret space program can't really. I mean, imagine you can, to some degree, prove it, but we haven't got like proof. But it's those that are talking about, like, was it Mark Richards that Project Camelot, Gary Cassie talks to? Yeah, I believe that's real. Also, he talked about the Raptors, and only thing I connected with him and the Raptors, I just saw like a raptor try and want to bite its head off. So anyway, that's all I got out of that. Yeah, that wasn't much. Wasn't much, but I believe it was on Mars and trying to chew his head off. Yep. So I don't have any. That's a secret space program as I get, at least for my knowledge, at least, and wherever it comes through. Welcome to the real world. Anyway, to go into, so as for the black magic that's going on here, at least for the Nazis, I'm also seeing female scientists. It wasn't all male. Wasn't many of them. And it seems like history has suppressed them, at least through the Nazism that's going on. Might be mostly male that brought over, but I see females. Either they, I think it was even in it was in a Wonder Woman about a female scientist. That was kind of like that was very comic booky, but anyway. Oh man, I'm clearing my mind. But I do see female scientists. Wasn't all male. For some reason, females are being quiet for some reason. They're not being put in history. A lot of them do have, it's not all male ran. It's definitely not. Now, the females might be running other females, like doing warfare on them. As for what happens to children when they're born and stuff like that, making it more difficult for births and stuff like that. Autism and things like that. I do see that and being involved with it to a certain degree. But I do see female scientists in Nazi Germany, so it wasn't many of them. I feel like a couple. That's probably why there's no history of them. I mean, not everything's going to be in history. So whatever it is, I believe they did get I believe they did get away. I don't think they died. It was like was it Austria or Germany? I don't know. They seemed to blend in or something like that. They got away with it somehow. I think it was Austria is where they were working at. As for what they were doing, I'm not getting a clear indication of what it was. But it seemed like there was maybe 7 female scientists. Obviously, this society, I am seeing like what the pentagram is. The pentagram. But it's done in a satanic way to activate their abilities. They're obviously talking in code. They're connected to the Greys, the reptilians, the Nordics. I don't think they were quite understood the Nordics because they were not being fully honest. The Greys seem to be partially honest with them with technologies. How are they connected to them? I'm not getting. I believe I'm not getting a clear indication of how that worked. Obviously, reptilians, gray. The Nordics were very quiet in what they were doing. It's like they were manipulating them in the Nazis in a certain way where they didn't really need to contact them. Really, they're already doing their bidding. The Nazis are already doing their bidding. So they had another way of communication. They might have showed themselves, maybe showed themselves and not said anything. I'm not getting 100% on any of that. I am seeing like a raptor being. I believe the Nazis did go to Mars, from what I'm feeling, maybe through a portal. I'm feeling more portal. So, yeah, this is basically your modern secret space program. Pretty much is like you go there's a bunch of Nazi stuff everywhere. They're still there, obviously. They are a secret space. They're the modern version of it. Let's put it that way. I believe there are others that were not. Somehow there's others, maybe not on Mars, but other places. It does seem like that. I feel like there are humans on other planets from our world, probably abducted. They're not going to go into detail on that. That's not important anyway. Yeah, the Nordics wanted to be part of our DNA. Humans be our DNA. That way, they own us more. They control us more. Reptilians weren't too big on that, and so I think reptilians had a problem with that because they didn't want to lose their influence over us. And Greys didn't either, so that's why the Nordics are kind of quiet about everything. They had their own way of the tall blondes. Yeah, so if you're a low vibrational being, they don't always how it goes. They're not all going to get along. But they'll work with each other to a certain degree. Origin does anyway. Obviously, there's more going on than just Zeta, Reptilian, Tall Blonde. There's more, but that's enough for me. A lot of Syrian energies of the Middle East, for sure. Alien Syrians, place of low vibrations. I've seen a lot of felines around North America. Interesting. I've seen a lot of that around education, which is interesting. And this is where we're during World War II. I'm seeing felines on Africa. So obviously, man, I'm really seeing this whole feline thing in our education system for sure. Well, I'm gathering is that they're making sports look more important than education itself. It's like, here's a couple of things, but sports, fame, popular, that's more important. Here's a bunch of watered down information, basically, that's wrong anyway. What matters is looks, your, athleticness, whatever you do to not connect to your own self, very into the physical, big time physical. And that's very Nordic-like also, but these are the felines. I feel it feels like it's weird, but like I said, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, I got buzz on there. Anyway, as for, let's see, the agendas of current agenda, or wait a minute, let's go back into, well, Obviously, what the Nazis did, yeah, it does seem like they did go to another planet, obviously, because of Mars. I am sensing also Pluto. There's a lot of places people won't believe. I mean, one thing, Mars is one thing, but it is like they do have some sort of something's on Pluto too. They're not going into details of it. Let's see. During their time, they did compromise the United States. The United States was already kind of running part of it already, especially with Father Bush. This is grandfather of whatever. It's the Bush senior whatever senior of the 1940s. So Prescott Bush, I think his name is. If I remember right. Anyway, but that's what we know of. Uh, that's what we know of. Let's see. It was more than that. It seems like the Nazis were already paying people off in our government, obviously. So they already infiltrated us. It's like, if you do this, that'll be great. We'll make you rich. If you don't, you're going to suffer this like quiet stuff, like spies. I've seen Nazi spies within our government. Big surprise there. Yeah. As for the demise of Germany, I mean, they had to go out with a bang. I believe they sabotaged themselves, from what I'm feeling. At least the Nazis did. They got what they were looking for. Of course, there was more, but they just continue it as Americans or Russians. So it feels like they did self-sabotage. Um, it was one. It wasn't through. I don't believe it was through Hitler. I don't think it had anything to do with that. But as for it could have happened through the Vril Society. Very much. It could have happened through them. It's just hidden agendas. Basically, to sabotage the war. It's like, we got what we were looking for. Now we go cloaked. It's like, yeah, what's everybody, the Americans want or whatever, and then they're going to go cloaked. Obviously, they're running. I think there's already public information about the Queen of England and all that. How a lot of the English are involved with it. So that's what's public. Churchill feels like he's been compromised. I feel like they had him kind of maybe. Let's see. It feels like they had spies around him. He wasn't that well protected. Let's see here. I'm feeling protection energy around that, but it does seem like it wasn't him fully. It was those running him, operating him. So he didn't really see what was going on. So what you're seeing is legit, but not 100%. Like, but not all the way. But it does seem like there's some stuff there that's by 50-50. Yeah, there is obviously the Vril Society or whatever society that was there, whatever, the Bilderberg group, whatever. No, they weren't great, but anyway, it does seem like there was another hand there. Obviously, it does seem like Congress has already been sold out. They sold out early during when the Nazis started going to power. I believe our government's already sold out, most of it at least. Yeah, you're not going to get that. You're not going to read that in the history books. It does seem like a good amount of it sold out. Not all of it, but enough. The presidency was, I think it's Roosevelt. From what I'm feeling, I could be wrong. I feel like his hands are tied behind his back. He had to do what he was told to do. I don't think he was killed. He feels like, to me, a failure. I mean, he did a lot of good stuff, but also I think he sold us out. He sold America out. I don't think he had any choice. From my feeling, he had no choice. Understand the central bank, the Federal Reserve, is already activated. Remember what, 1913? So the bankers already are moved in, so they got us by the throat basically for financial. So they're already running our government completely. So it does seem like it does seem like the Nazism was there, maybe like delivered through other societies, but it's like you go to like a dinner. Like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Like you're a congressman, and you go there's all Nazis there. It's like, okay, this is not this isn't what I signed up for. That's what I'm feeling. It's like that's what that's what I'm getting anyway. So I believe they are in some ways planning for their quiet takeover, quiet, basically just to show. I don't know. It does seem like obviously they wanted to do the Nordic stuff. It's still kind of going on, but it's not as strong as chemical warfare. Look at all us. Where it's going on, but not with the Nordic. That part I think collapsed, obviously, but they still try to keep their presence here. Like the Nordic human is like supreme race. There is an alien race that is, I believe, called the Aryan. I don't think they had anything to do with it. Part of them did, but I don't think the rest of the society had anything to do with it. So, but as for, the Nordics are very much involved with our chemical warfare that's going on with us right now, dumbing down humanity, whatever it's water, whatever it is. So they are still doing it to a certain degree. They are changing our DNA. They can't get their species into all a bunch of white blonde people. If they can't do that, they're still going to do something. But it's the war of vibration because basically what I'm getting from the Nordics is like, yeah, they're just like, I feel peer pressure from them. I feel like you're a nobody. You don't mean anything. You should look like this. And I picked up on that before, but it's really, really heavy. It's just they do that to kids. They do it, and but they're also doing chemical warfare on everybody. So you can't look the way you really want. Because our physicalities are being so screwed with right now. We can't. We have to be at the gym 24 hours a day to keep our weight down because all the crap they're putting in the air and our food and everything. So it's like, just to feel decent, have a decent weight, weight for yourself is like impossible. I believe the reptilians had something to do with that also. Just what the Nordics have. A lot of beings have anyway. Make a list. But it seems like the Nordics are very much involved with that. Basically, they just want to peer pressure the soul into not wanting to live anymore. And they're more vicious. I think they're more vicious than the reptilians in their own way. They all have their own viciousness. Reptilians just see us as weak. They just think we're just a bunch of weak crybabies, basically. So, they use that. Even the football players call them weak, getting a brain injury every time they catch a ball, but, I'm still weak. It seems to be a lot in that. So, let's see here. As for the Vril Society, I am seeing sacrifices. Child sacrifice, it just showed up. Female sacrifice, just I'm getting on. Yeah, give them more power. It's for the alien beings. Instead of abducting them, to just take these people. Just take them. You don't have to abduct anybody. Here you go. So, obviously, what happened to Eisenhower is a different story, but still. And Eisenhower happened with that. Obviously, that was after World War II. But that was still anyway, going to that. I know I went to that before, but that was like they can't fully take over. It was like they can. Aliens can take over, but but then other aliens come in to kick their ass. It's like, no, you can't do this. But if humans give into it and agree to it, then there's nothing they can do. They can help try to help us out of it, I don't think they can really do anything. They can give you options like don't do this, and then we do it anyway because we're a bunch of what. So it does seem, yeah. So they can sneak it in, and with the Nazis, they just snuck it in and say, "Hey, we're a bunch of aliens, and this is our technology." So at least they're in the Vril society. So like a lot of them were intuitive, awakened, aware of something was up. Also, I say they're into a lot of voodoo, a lot of mysticism, stuff like that. So they're already kind of already aware. I think there are a lot of them were led also through the black magicians of the Illuminati, the four vibrations. Uh, Listen, Churchill was compromised a long time ago. He wasn't, as I just he wasn't fully aware anymore. It's kind of like being brainwashed, kind of like yeah, I'll be the soldier, but also like two versions of him. What I'm saying. So, and same with our, yeah, that was he. He could have been a major anyway. Because it was such a public figure, they couldn't fully sell him out publicly. But it does seem like there's like two versions of him from what I'm feeling. I don't think they don't know anything about that. As for uh, like with the Japanese, it does seem like a lot of that was. I would say, I mean, some of that seemed like it's orchestrated through the Germans also to a degree. Uh, I guess the Japanese just felt like they had an opportunity. Also, I think the Germans were aware of the Japanese, like what they were going through. I believe we had if I remember history right, we weren't being very nice to them. If I remember right, so they're just pissed off at everybody, mostly Americans, from what at least from what I'm feeling. So I believe the Germans are well aware of that, from what I'm gathering. It does seem like they did their own mind control over the Japanese also to keep Americans away from what was going on in the Germans. Like, okay, now you got these guys to deal with. Now we can continue our work as they're fighting these guys. So as they fight the Japs. So it does seem like it helped whatever projects they were doing. Like was it the B-2 bomber and stuff like a lot of the technologies obviously was hidden. It seem like a lot of it was hidden in Russia, but then brought to America, from what I'm gathering. Russia was just the easiest transport at the time. A lot of it was taken to Russia, but not necessarily the government will be aware of it. It also seems like, I mean, like China, I believe, has been successful with their space program. Yeah, everything's quiet right now, but anyway, I digress. Let's see. Yeah, it seems like a lot happened. Whatever, what happened in Russia caused a lot of the Germans to rethink a lot of their direction. It's like it does seem like they felt like they were not going to win this war. That was part of it. It's like they just didn't have the manpower, they didn't have the resources as they thought they did. But so it was like I just still see self sabotage instead of going out the other way. So, because they infiltrated the Russians, definitely the Americans in their own way, in a small way, of course. Just like yeah, the Russians actually made it to the moon and everything before us. It's just publicly that was all. They're going all over the place, but it feels like the Russians are there first, from what I'm gathering. Of course, not publicly. From what I'm gathering. Um, Obviously, there's different versions of this. Let's see. What else we got? The Vril Society is very much involved. As you can tell, they are infiltrating the UFO communities right now. Yeah. They have different ways of doing it. The major ones. Small ones, not so much. The big ones. They have their ways of doing it. Basically, you see a lot of money, be aware of something there is not right. So, there isn't a heavy influence. it's just like buying into a company. So here you go, here's a bunch of money. Yeah, everything will be fine. Just money. It does seem like their hand is there. So just to let you know, it does feel like that way. Not entirely influencing, but it does seem like there'll be some truth, and then there'll be something else. Some truth and be something else. So they're keeping an eye of who goes to these things. Obviously, they have their hand in everything. Jeez, obviously, it's probably nothing new to a lot of people out there, but as for coming out for the space program, unlikely. As for the Vril Society, most likely will go into more detail over time. This is just like a little bit of, they had a lot of rituals. A lot of it was in Agartha. It does seem like they made their place in Agartha. It's like, it's our way, the highway. So they've made, it does seem like a place there where they are, at least for the Nazis. It's still there, it feels. Well, see, that's the thing. They don't feel no one's going to believe them. So that's why they're going to do it. They don't care. And they are screwing around with dimensions still. If you see like a dinosaur dimension, or you see, if you just, like, people are seeing stuff, like aliens, or seeing some, like, a dimension just pop up, it seems like they're doing experiments from what I'm gathering. It might not be 100% always them, but it seems like whatever they're doing, because they're always doing stuff, doesn't mean it's in Agartha. It does feel like a lot of it's in Agartha, but it is causing these dimensions to open here and there. Like 9/11, a lot of dimensions opened up. During any time of terrorist attack, dimensions open up, stuff like that. So things are, it does seem like the last thing they want is, or for the positives also, is a world war. Of course, the world vibrations want a war, but that's not going to happen. I'm not saying it. A lot of it's just like you had your fun. We saw what you did, and no more of it. They're still clearing up a lot of it, as you can tell. But yeah, I saw a lot of work in lower astral also. They know how to manipulate the lower astrals. Also, for people that are seeing ghosts that are what a low vibration, does seem like the elite are experimenting with the ghost dimension also. They are kind of tuning it. It's like they don't care what it does to people. People aren't going to believe it because people aren't connected to it. They feel like, but it is causing like ideas also for horror movies and nasty stuff. So they do stuff like that, the low vibration stuff, to inspire art, and to a certain degree. Like there's a story about, what was it, The Thin Man or something like that, or they're making a movie out. It's really creepy. I forgot what the name of it was, but it was like somebody was making up a story, and then I don't think they really saw, but either way, they were connected. They were receiving a download or something from, I forgot what it was, like The Thin Man or something like that. It was really creepy. And they're making a movie about it. I think it's going to come out soon. Some two girls killed another girl because of it, of The Thin Man or whatever it's called. Gosh, I can't think of it. Anyway. But it does seem like they're toying with all this stuff. People at a low vibration, they do bring this type of creepy stuff to you. Some of it's for, no, not all of it. I mean, like some of this stuff is just for entertainment. It's just somebody's exploring the dark. That's one thing. But the other is just to cause low vibrations, to keep us at a low vibration, keep us under control. So this is the way it is. It's like, horror. We have whatever it is. Imagine if you had actually more. See, they're putting us at a low vibration. So that's easier to connect to, because obviously, how hard is it to relate to that? But if you have more, if you lift the vibration, I imagine more fantasy stuff will come through, at least for movies and stuff, where people feel more alive, more, because they can relate to it more. Now they're connected to more of a high vibration. We'll get there eventually. Not to say it won't have horror. I think it'll always have some sort of horror film or horror kind of art, because that's just part of our. That's always going to be there somewhere. It's just the way it is. But it's kind of heavy to some degree. Like, where's the more happier tone stuff? It will find its way in. It's just we have to find our way out of this. You know, that's how you evolve, basically. But not to fully discount something. You know, because you need light and dark. You need them both. That's how we live. You know, but to better manage it, we're going into a better management. Um, so was this all this to talk about the Nazis and all of that? Obviously, there's a lot more to it. I'm just kind of glossing into. I don't know a whole lot about it, but from what I'm gathering, there's probably some upsetting stuff that probably best to not be mentioned. But it does seem like, you know, like how they made contact. I'm not getting any details on. It's not that important, but yeah, they did have definitely had. You know, basically, yeah, the black magicians. They led their people into mysticism, knew about the aliens somehow. They're in the right place, right time. Maybe it's through channelings, through it was a little by little, they kind of moved towards it, where they picked up on, you know, a visitation eventually. It does feel like they did have, from what I'm feeling, they did have a visitation. Some of them did. Maybe the black magicians might have brought them in. I'm not sure how that worked exactly, but it does seem like they were delivered. Now, the Illuminati presence is usually not seen. From what I'm gathering, they're always hidden. There are Agarthas somewhere, but I don't think they're all bad though. But yeah, it does seem like they're. Yeah, we'll figure it out eventually. Anyway, so the Vril Society, it's basically they're the ones that connect to the aliens through the Nazism. And that's probably the secret space program right now, and all this stuff that we're education program, all this stuff. They do get knowledge from the aliens, the low vibrational aliens, how to control us, how to rule us, how to manipulate our DNA, how to make us all just unhealthy. A lot of that's coming from them, not all of it, but quite a bit of it. But to become more knowledgeable of what's going on is to reverse it. This is basically realize that we're being manipulated, and to just reverse this idea within yourself that always that we are not alone. We are part of their matrix that they created for us, and for us to realize what's wrong. Yeah, people are waiting for ships to land and all that's not going to happen. I doubt it. You know, we just have to evolve, and we're having a little difficulties, as you can see, but that's okay. We're not meant to go switch over right away, but yeah, we'll definitely end a lot of the idea is to end violence here, and that's major. Has become become a more peaceful society. That's the solution, but individually you have to find that on their own. Many are doing that, as you can tell. Oh, yeah. Easier said than done. Oh, great. It popped up again. So, anyway, I think I've chattered enough. Hopefully, that was somewhat helpful. Yeah, it's been kind of long. It's been kind of a rough weekend. So, hopefully, yeah, this isn't going to. I'm kind of like starting into this. Probably going to more of the Vril Society over time here and there. Hopefully, I'll give you more information, more detail. But anyway, we'll see how things go. Those are new to all this, if anybody still cares. We have this is ivanteller.com. You can book a private session here. And this is the calendar section. And this is you can book without the calendar. I'll just send you an email. We also have gift cards. Just learn about your abilities, learn about all the insanity that I just talked about. And also you can submit a $5 question. And it is an alternative payment system. And whoops. And we have the webinar. I'm going to be switching this over eventually, not quite yet, but eventually I'm going to switch this over to the new one. So join the webinar. And here's Spirit Social, and the links are down below. If you're wondering, Inventory services, submit a question, healing, past life regression, message from Yeshua, 5-minute healing, and channeling consulting. Spiritual connections, 1 question from a day. Chakra healing from a day, soul pain from Stephanie, and angelic Reiki. And this is how you keep the show going on, keep videos going on, support the progress, process, whatever. We'll go into more details of what people ask when the aliens are going to show up is basically for us to realize we are not alone and they're all here. It's basically to connect to your own abilities. People have a problem with that, as you might be aware of. We all have psychic powers. We all have all kinds of abilities. And a lot of people are not connecting to it because they just think it's a bunch of rubbish, which is quite humorous, but that is part of the process. We're not all here to connect to mediumship, not all here to channel. We're all here for different reasons. We all have our abilities for certain. Some are here just to be nice, which is a big deal. Because a lot of people here are not nice, here not to have a huge ego. That's a huge thing too. So we have all that. And we all have a purpose here. It's just to find the purpose. Purpose is just to be yourself, basically. So going to, I think some people gave me other subject matters. I kind of went into this. Right now, this felt like a good idea to go into. This is just scratching the surface for right now. Some of this stuff's kind of gritty, so I'm not sure how far I want to go into that. Probably not. But yeah, there's bird beings involved, obviously. We'll see. I'm not sure if the aliens are going to truly channel about it, because I'm not sure it's that important. But anyway, it does have a lot to do with our chemical warfare that's going on to us right now. Basically, most likely what I'm feeling is like, there's no reason why we have to go to the gym all the time. If you want to go to the gym, there's nothing wrong with that. But we're not getting what's right for our bodies right now. For us to be at a normal weight, some of us might be a little bit more over, but so it's like ridiculous now. So our bodies are not healing as they should be. So we're like sick all the time, basically. Not all the time, but we're not as good shape as we should be. And that's due by the beings that don't really want us here. So that's why connecting to all this helps. It does help clear lower vibrations. The idea is to clear low vibrations. When a test does come, we can handle it better and just get all angry and losing our mind. So anyway. All right, blessings everyone. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for support, and have a great week. Blessings.